Hello and welcome to English for Everyone, where we practice real-life American English. Today I'm walking around my neighborhood here in California, and we're going to learn some vocabulary about how to communicate with your head. Let's get started. If I want to say no, I do this. What am I doing? I'm shaking my head no. Let's look at the verb shake. Shake in the present, in the past shook, use the sound like book and look, shook. And the participle is shaken. So example, I'm shaking my head no. Example in the past, I asked my boss if I could leave early and she just shook her head. And to be very clear, I can say she shook her head no. Let's practice. When I asked my boss if I could leave early, did she say anything or did she just shake her head? That's right, she didn't say anything. She just shook her head no. Example is shaken. You can shake hands. And I have never shaken hands with the president. Let's practice. Have you ever shaken hands with the president? Very good. Now let's talk more about your head. What if you say yes? You do that. Well, what is that? That is nodding your head. You nod your head. Do I have to say nod your head yes? No, because nod is only used for your head. This verb is not used for anything else. So you just say, he nodded his head. Nod in the present, in the past, nodded. So, nod in the present, in the past, nodded. He nodded his head. He did this. He's telling you yes, but he's not speaking. So example, I asked her if she was having a good day and she nodded her head. But she didn't say anything. She just nodded her head. Let's practice. When I asked her if she was having a good day, what did she do? Did she nod her head? That's right, she nodded her head. And another use of the verb nod is the phrasal verb nod off. To nod off means to go to sleep on accident. Again, in the present nod, in the past nodded. Sometimes I nod off when I'm driving, if I'm really tired. But it's very dangerous. If you nod off when you're driving, you should pull over and stop driving. Example, she was studying, but she was really tired, so she nodded off. Let's practice. What happened? She was studying, and what did she do? Did she nod off? That's right, she nodded off, like this. You fall asleep. That's nodding off. And what if you do this? You do this when you're confused, and it's called tilt your head to the side. If I'm confused, sometimes I tilt my head to the side. Or you can use the verb cock. You cock your head to the side. So tilt your head to the side, or cock your head to the side. So let's talk about dogs. Dogs do this a lot. If a dog is confused, it will tilt its head to the side. Tilt in the present, in the past, tilted. The dog didn't say anything. The dog just tilted his head to the side. I'm guessing it's a boy dog. I don't know. So I say his. Again, the dog tilted his head to the side because he was confused. Let's practice. What did the dog do? Did the dog tilt his head to the side? That's right, the dog tilted his head to the side because he was confused. So remember the vocabulary. You can shake your head no, you can nod your head, or you can tilt your head to the side. Thank you for watching, and keep watching to practice with more real-life American English. So we're looking at the verbs jip and bilk. They both mean to cheat somebody out of something, but they're used a little differently. First, let's look at jip. So if somebody cheated me, I can say they gypped me. And I use out of. They gypped me out of money. Gyp in the past, gypped. But when I link it with a consonant after gypped, it's a stop T and you don't really hear it. Gyp me. The tongue goes up, but you don't really hear it. They gypped me out of money. That means they cheated me out of money. Let's hear some examples.
We've been gypped all our lives, Smiler.
Because
I figured that no matter what I screwed up in my life, no matter what I felt gypped out of, I had the most important thing right.
We've been gypped.
Here's the deal, Mom. We thought it over, and we decided we were being totally gypped.
So I can die with a smile on my face without feeling like the good Lord gypped me.
Downtown with us. I'm telling you, the devil gypped me for a hamburger!
Example, she put her money in the machine, but she didn't get anything. She was gypped. She was gypped out of her money. You can also use gyp as a noun. It's not a good deal. She lost her money. It's a bad deal. You can say, it's a gyp, or what a gyp. She put her money in the machine and she didn't get anything. What a gyp. Let's hear some examples.
I got suckered. I thought they were going to deputize me or something. What a gyp.
What a gyp.
What a gyp.
That sucks.
What? What a gyp.
Let's practice. She put her money in the machine, but she didn't get anything. Was she gypped out of her money? That's right, she was gypped out of her money. In this situation, can you say, what a gyp? That's right, what a gyp. Now let's compare it to this verb, bilk. Bilk means the same thing. It means when you cheat someone out of money. But gyp is normally used for smaller amounts of money, and bilk is usually used for larger amounts of money. And when you use bilk, you have an option. You can say, he was bilked of a lot of money, or he was bilked out of a lot of money. You have an option with your prepositions. Let's hear some examples with bilk.
So they could bilk the bank of $189,000 of commission.
Is convicted in 1998 for running a Ponzi scheme that bilked investors.
We've been bilked with damaged goods.
You're bilked out of what is rightfully yours by Miss Terry Hoskins, who is today one of the wealthiest women in the state of California.
I always told her your firm was bilking her for millions.
Example, he was one of the investors that lost money. He was cheated out of a lot of money. They bilked the investors out of a lot of money, out of millions of dollars. So the investors were bilked out of millions of dollars. Let's practice. Did they bilk the investors out of millions of dollars? That's right, they bilked the investors out of millions of dollars. They cheated them. Now let's practice with passive voice. Were the investors bilked out of millions of dollars? That's right, the investors were bilked out of millions of dollars. They were cheated. They were bilked. So remember, gyp is a verb and gyp is a noun. You can say, I was gypped, or what a gyp. Bilk is only a verb. Gyp is usually used for smaller amounts, and bilk is usually used for larger amounts. But not always, just usually. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, subscribe to our channel. And if you want to become a member, click the join button. And we'll see you next time.